But yes, they have good intentions, but sometimes God doesn't need you just to hear the revelation that they got. He needs to speak a revelation through you. Hi, my love. Welcome to my channel. My name is Felicia Morgan. If it is your first time being here, thank you so much for joining me. And if you are coming back again, it is good to see you. So today I wanted to have just a real conversation, right? A real heart-to-heart about being able to hear God for ourselves. Recently, I have been in a season where God is kind of like cutting off noise. He's cutting off different things that I've listened to in the past, even things innocent as like other pastors and sermons and things like that. The news has been burdensome to me. He's been cutting that off. I still pay attention when I see this stuff is happening, when, IG and Facebook pop up, right? But for the most part, I've been cutting off the news. I've been cutting off and unfollowing people where it's just like everything is this tragic. And God's like, I need you to hear what I'm saying to you right now. And so even the good things like sermons where they are well-intentioned and all, God is really bringing me to his feet. And I've been talking to some other people and they have been in the same season too. And so I just wanted to come on here and just talk to you about, if you are going through the same thing, bravo. But also, if you've been feeling led in that type of direction, I just want to give you some insight in how to go about that. And don't cut off those things to fill them up with other things that aren't going to fulfill you and get you to hear from God. You got to cut those other outside noises out and get into the meat of what he needs you to do. So how do we do that? I'm glad you asked. So first of all, we want to make sure that we are praying. Prayer is so important because as we develop our relationship with God, prayer is our conversation with God. So it doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be elegant. It doesn't always have to sound like a battle like the prayer warriors got going on, right? There's a time and a place for that, but sometimes you just got to come heart to heart with God and make sure that just like any other relationship with good communication, that you take the time to listen. It's not just about venting. It's not just about you pouring out, but you got to take the time to be quiet and listen and hear what it is that God is saying to you in that moment. What is he prompting you to do? Who is he prompting you to pray for, to intercede for? Make sure you take the time to listen. You also got to make sure that you are worshiping God, okay? You don't have to wait for a church service and a congregation. So don't worry about what it sounds like. Don't worry about what it looks like. Just put your hands up, surrender to him, palms open, and make sure you worship, because that's how we posture ourselves to be able to hear from him. We have so many different emotions going on, but when we worship, it's saying, less of me and let me get into a position where I can hear from you properly. Allow me to decrease myself and put my focus and perspective on you right now in this moment. Take my eyes off of myself, take my focus off of myself, and let me put my eyes on you, God. That is what worship does. So make sure you are taking time to worship so that you can be in a proper place to hear the way that you need to hear. Next, y'all, we got to read our word, okay? This right here, now this is a study Bible from Tony Evans. But even when I read this, I still make sure that I read it and I get the interpretation that God is telling me, right? But this is a good starting point. If you have a study Bible, it's good, for reference things. If you got like a little concordance, there's usually a concordance in the back for you to look stuff up and to go into deeper study, right? But read your word. To hear properly from God, this is a big one that a lot of times as Christians we overlook, and we don't bother to do it because we don't have time and it takes too long and I don't understand it anyway. Look, that's where the prayer comes in. You pray, for interpretation before you read this, right? And read it. If it don't make sense, read it again. Ask questions and ask God to reveal it through his word. That God inspires you through his word, through his living word that helps you in your situation. All that new age stuff, all that extra stuff people got going on, guess what? All of that is twisted stuff that is already in the Bible. It started here. It started here. You read this and you will get your solution. I promise you. Read your word. Now, also, in this season, what I have learned is that I want to write down as much stuff as possible. It is so important to journal and to write. Listen, write your thoughts, write your questions, write down what you think God is saying to you, write down what you know God is saying to you, write down dreams, write down visions, every detail that you can think of, even if it doesn't make sense to you in that moment, write it down. Write it all down, because you may be able to come back to it and be like, you know what, God did say that to me. You know what, I remember I wrote something down that sounded like that. Even if you don't physically write it in here, use the notes in your phone to write stuff. That's where a lot of like the dreams I've been having, I write it in my notes tab. And I leave it there because I can go back to it and look, or I can see a pattern. Or maybe I start to notice some other areas where I notice certain things and certain imagery, right? So you want to write down everything that you believe that God is showing you, because it'll help you to remember, and it'll help you kind of place the things together that he's been saying to you, and it'll lead you in the right direction. I hope that helps you all. Because, like I said, I'm in this season right now where God is showing me to cut those things off and really pay attention to him. And so if you find yourself in that current season, I just wanted to help you. Pray, worship, read your word, journal, write everything down, right? Ask those questions, but make sure you are paying attention to what God is saying to you in this season. It's okay to listen to sermons and all of that. Yes, they have good intentions, but sometimes God doesn't need you just to hear the revelation that they got. He needs to speak a revelation through you. And make sure you're paying attention to him to get the revelation that you need for the season that you are in. And that it's not just, God isn't just speaking through certain people. He's speaking through the people that are willing to listen and pay attention. And some of those people, you got to make sure you take what they say to God to make sure that they're saying the right thing that they need to be saying. So make sure that you are listening to God for yourself to hear what he is speaking to you. Thank you guys so much for being here. I hope that helps you if you happen to be in the same type of season, or if you just feel like you've been prompted that way and you weren't sure what to do. I really hope that helps. Leave a comment. Let me know what God is telling you in this current season. Let me know some other things that maybe you've been doing as well to get yourself through this time of just really listening to God. But I really appreciate you all for being here, for listening. Make sure that you share this with a friend. And until next time, like this video. And make sure you subscribe before you leave, so that way you can get notifications on the next one. And until next time, bye.